25-year-old serial killer out in Miami, ladies and gentlemen. Very successful, riding around in Lamborghinis, Bentleys, Benzes, everything, man. So check this guy out. We'll be back with more commentary.
These are typical Facebook pictures of a young man in the prime of his life. But Miami police and Mayor Francis Suarez say this 25-year-old took lives. Cruel individual looking more like a chameleon in these smooth-looking Facebook photos, reminding us all we never really know who someone is just by the way they appear.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this. Let's dig just a little bit deeper to what we just saw. All right, so go ahead, Zan. Why don't you start us off?
It's hard to know what to say. It's unexpected. It makes me wonder what was going through his mind. You know, there's no justification for just killing someone in cold blood, but it kind of makes me wonder if there were warning signs, if people saw changes in his behavior. Did he have some kind of mental breakdown or snap in some kind of way? Was he schizophrenic? You know, so I just don't even know what to say about this situation.
He was a young black professional living in Miami, living his best life. You know, why would a person that's a young professional snap like that?
Well, I work with gifted and talented kids. And one of the things that you see sometimes with children or young people that are really successful is they don't know how to deal with, I guess you could say, some of the issues that come up with success. They are afraid of losing their success. They don't know how to deal with, I mean, there are children who they've got an A all their life. The first time they get a B, they literally become suicidal because in their head, their identity is wrapped around their success. And it's wrapped around being this person who always has it together, who always has the answer, who always looks a certain way, does things a certain way. And they haven't learned that in life, there's ups and downs. In life, things don't always go your way. They haven't learned that. They haven't absorbed that. And so sometimes these very successful, we think, kids or young people who seem to have it all, they don't have coping skills and they don't have a real strong identity outside of the way they look or what they have accomplished. And anything that happens to challenge that, it can send them into kind of a tailspin, and they can act in very uncharacteristic ways that you would not have expected, because you think that being successful, or we think that being successful means they're mature, they're responsible, but sometimes it doesn't mean that at all, you know, so that could be a factor.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. This guy was out there killing homeless people. I wonder, were they in front of his properties, or did he just hate the homeless? MD to life. What was this guy going through, man?
Man, my first initial reaction when I seen it, it's a crazy, sad story, to be honest. Shouts out to his people, because I'm sure, you know, his loved ones is touched by this very deeply. It's going to affect everybody around him. I'm sure people had high hopes and dreams for the young man. He was doing good. But I'm also a spiritual person myself, man. So it kind of makes me wonder, you know, I know a lot of people nowadays are into the spiritual realm, and, you know, Illuminati is real in the world and the mind of a lot of people, and sacrifice and all these things. They say they was looking into him for a case dating back all the way to 2016. So I just want to know when he kind of came into his money. First and foremost, that would kind of help me have a better understanding of what might have triggered him. It could have been, you know, he could have been feeling like he had to give back to whatever apparent reason or entities that got him to where he may be. You never know what's in the mind of a person in these days and ages. Me personally, I would definitely hope that's not the case. I would just hope it was a mental issue. Not saying that's a good thing, but I would rather it be that than a black man being misled by media and spirituality. You feel what I'm saying? But it's just sad in general, fam. My condolences to his family again, man. I really don't know where else to go with that. It's a sad story.
Mr. Therapist, what was going on with this guy, man?
When he was arrested, not convicted. Who's to say he even did the crime? Who's to say he's not being blackballed because he's black? Who's to say he was at the wrong place, wrong time, and it just happened to be because he had a weapon on him, he's the culprit? Anyways, 2 people is not equal serial killing. I've killed 8 people. I'm not even considered a serial killer. So I don't see how they come up with that 2 killing serial killer thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point right there, Mr. Blue. It's killing 2 people, but he also injured several others. But is killing 2 people considered being a serial killer? HelloBlackMan.com?
I guess from my understanding, a serial is from a pattern of behavior, and from right now it's 3. 2 is a pair. 3 is definitely a pattern of behavior. If you're able to commit a violent crime against the same type of person or people in whatever time frame. For me, and like I said, the guilt or innocence is not on me to lay claim to, but anyone who's done it, if it's this guy or whomever, to me, it's a Godplex. It's somebody that believes that they have the ability to take whatever, especially somebody when they're taken from a level of people that they feel is beneath them. That's what I feel this is. Once that person gets away with it, they're like, no one cares. I'm doing them a favor. I'm getting them out of the way. That's what it feels like to me. That's what crimes like this, it feels like somebody has empowered themselves to clean up the streets. They've empowered themselves to remove trash or remove some level of people that is beneath them. And this guy's 25 years old, real estate, driving nice cars and things of that nature. To me, it feels like a God complex came over him. Maybe if you're spiritual, basically took over his spiritual self and said, now I want you to do this. And especially when everybody knows this. If you do something, if you steal a grape from a grocery store and you get away with it, next time you go, you'll get 2. If you get extra change back from a cashier, you're gonna go to that cashier again. That's a pattern of behavior. If you figure out, hey, if I kill this homeless guy, nobody even look for him, no questions, nothing on the newspaper or nothing like that. If he committed the crime in 2016, he probably never heard anything else from it. You know what I'm saying? Now, what they should be able to do is, if it's this guy or whomever, most people like that, they are looking to gather that information. So if he did a crime, you'll see it on his phone. He probably got screenshots of, murdered homeless and stuff like that. People like that feel like they are they are doing the world a favor. That's what it looks like to me. And I think it's absolutely a despicable presence to have, but obviously somebody's capable of it.
All right, so check this out. Mr. Therapist brought up a lot of questions because this guy was black, but the police said that they had several pieces of evidence, including ballistic evidence and also video footage as well. So Zen, do you want to say anything about what Mr. Therapist said?
Well, I think we live in a country where we hopefully are innocent until proven guilty. And we are able to go before a judge and jury, hopefully a jury of our peers. We know that Black men are targeted by law enforcement very often. We know that they are, we also know eyewitness testimony is suspect. People don't remember as well as they think they do. Cameras are notorious for not looking at us the same way they look at white people. When you look at facial recognition, there's been some challenges on facial recognition because the majority of the database is white. Well, our facial features are not like white people's facial features. And so there have been several cases where facial recognition from a camera has pointed to one Black man, and that Black man has not been the person. just because the facial recognition was flawed. And it was not calibrated to take in our different features, our wider noses, our different cheekbones, our fuller lips. So it basically misread the facial features and gave them a printout, in a sense, of someone that was not really the person. And that person was able to prove, I wasn't there, I couldn't have been there, here's my alibi. And, you know, and there have been cases where there's been lawsuits and other things over camera usage with flawed footage. So, you know, Mr. Therapist has some points about he is just accused. We don't know if he's guilty. And there needs to be some due diligence to make sure that the right person is charged with the crime.
And with that being said, it's going to take us to our second video.